Tim, welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona reference 16528, 40 millimeters in 18 karat yellow gold. You can see this El Primero powered generation of the Daytona, and if you like, buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that the fit and the stance of this watch is perfect. 40 millimeters with a broad crown guard asymmetrical case, especially when it's all in colored gold, has immense visual impact, persona, charisma, and realistically, because of the deft combination of white and yellow gold elements, it has almost an exotic tropical look to it. Now you can see that it's nice and thin too. 13 millimeters with a abundantly curved case flank, a conical flat plane bezel, and a very low profile sapphire. There's going to be no trouble getting this to slip underneath even the tightest dress cuff. And because the case back is cupped just a little bit, you can see how it has that sort of conical form. It nestles down into the skin, so in realistic terms, when buckled, this watch is only about 10.5, 11 millimeters over the top of your wrist. Very discreet. You're going to be able to wear this with any formal attire. But because it is a Daytona, because it is a screw-down crown generation of the Daytona, the modern 40 millimeter case, automatic winding with a beautiful full metal bracelet, and of course the legendary Rolex/Zenith toughness inside, it is a sports watch through and through. This is one you can wear on a jog. I wouldn't necessarily wear it while running a steeplechase, but you can also swim with it. This is a tough watch. So as a sports watch with an upscale pedigree, it's also worth noting that it has an impressive horological pedigree as well. All the collectors out there, the Rolex enthusiasts, or those who are just coming to the model, understand that the Zenith-powered generation of the Daytona is special. Built from 1988, when it became the first automatic winding Daytona, to 1999, when it was phased out. These are far less common than the later Rolex in-house movements, and because they do have that Zenith El Primero movement, they were always constrained in their volume by the limit of Zenith's production capacity, and Zenith is a small manufacturer. So not only do you not see these too often, but you see even fewer of them in full gold, and that does have its advantages. First, let's talk about what's universal to this generation of Daytona. Solid lugs. You don't have the pierced pinholes that you see on the earlier hand wind models. It was a more upscale, tapered, streamlined, and integrated look. But what you get on the solid gold version that didn't appear until the very end of the line in about 1999 on the stainless steel watch is the solid end link bracelet. So not only does this bracelet have immense heft in the hand as well as on the wrist, but the Rolex rattle, the sound created by the hollow end links of the conventional stainless bracelet, you don't get that here because from the beginning the yellow gold El Primero powered Daytonas had solid end links. So a step up in quality, a step up in substance makes it wear that much more like a current day 2015 Daytona. Eyes closed, you can't tell the difference. Now the thing is, you can tell the difference eyes open between an El Primero powered Daytona and the latter day 6-digit reference with the Rolex movement. And the easiest way to tell is that on the El Primero powered examples, you have a constant small seconds dial at 9 o'clock. Now you can see that little sub-second hand inching its way along as I'm talking to you, and that's how you know it's an El Primero. You also know, because there are a couple of telltales here on this particular dial variation that give up the game. First and foremost, anytime you see an automatic winding Rolex Daytona with a tritium dial, you know that's an El Primero. Now there are a couple of different dials here. There's one that actually has the word Cosmograph visually separate from the other block of text. There's one that doesn't have the line officially certified. There are a couple that have the 6 on the 12-hour sub-register flipped upside down, and at the very end of the line they went to a Swiss-made tag when the tritium was eliminated. So you can actually tell different generations of the watches apart just by the distinctions between the El Primero dials themselves. Now, I will say this one is a 1996 era T series, and it also has a 1996 V stamp on the bracelet. So we're talking Blizzard of 96 for those northern US residents who might remember getting buried that year. Good times. This watch represents something of a high watermark of Rolex Cosmograph production before they became common, but after they were crude and hand wound. It's a great sort of best of the best a watch that's still fairly rare and exclusive because they could only make so many El Primero Daytonas, but at the same time, from arm's length, it's almost completely indistinct from the current model, hasn't aged a day. You have the beautifully broad engraved tachometer scale. Shortly after the introduction of this generation, it was graduated up to 400 units. You have the large crown guard equipped case flanks. You have the tactile satisfaction of that Zenith El Primero movement. Very crisp. You can feel it in the finger, you can hear it with the ear. And it was the El Primero that really brought the Daytona into the modern day and made it the legend it is rather than the curiosity that it was. Zenith's El Primero in 1969 became the first fully integrated high-beat automatic movement. When Rolex wanted to bring the Daytona up to speed as a luxury product, as a product that was every inch equal to the legend of the Submariner, the GMT, the likes of the Explorer 2 and the Explorer, something that could stand toe-to-toe with the Day-Date at the very top of the line as a co-flagship, Rolex in 1988 contracted Zenith to buy the El Primero chronograph movement, then only back in production for 3 years. Rolex then modified the legendary automatic chronograph with a couple of key upgrades. First and foremost, everything was fitted with a Rolex microstella balance, free-sprung balance architecture, a Rolex bidirectional winding upgrade to the Zenith automatic winding system, much tougher than the previous example, and the entirety was COSC certified. There are very, very few COSC certified Zenith El Primero movements out there. Essentially, there are the Zenith Chronomasters from the 90s and early 2000s and the El Primero Daytonas, and that's basically it. So this is a rare gem in that respect alone. Now, Rolex eliminated the date feature of the El Primero, and for the sake of durability and longevity, the El Primero is already tough. Rolex made it double tough by stepping down the beat rate from 5 Hz, or 36,000 vibrations per hour, to 28.8, and that has the benefit of allowing watchmakers to use conventional lubricants on the escapement when servicing it. So once again, not just more durable, but also more serviceable. With a 52-hour power reserve and the precision of the column wheel actuator, you get the tactile pleasure of using it, but you also get plenty of autonomy between windings, and with a very efficient Rolex-engineered winding system, you will not have to top this one up. As your only watch, you cannot do better. It's big, it's beautiful, it's all Rolex on the outside, the case, the dial, and the Rolex manufactured gold. Remember, they smelt it in their own factory. They're one of the few that own an actual foundry in-house. The best of the best, you get a Rolex modified Zenith movement and Rolex's own unmistakable Daytona case, dial, and bracelet. This is one of the finest examples of an El Primero Daytona you can buy. A wonderful combination of white and gold accents. It has a festive, as I said earlier, almost tropical look to it. Not tropical in the weathered sense of a vintage watch, but tropical in the contrast of beautiful, light, effervescent tones. It's a gorgeous and romantic image, and it's a watch that, quite frankly, is hard to top for historical significance, mechanical integrity, or artisanal virtuosity. A beautiful piece. Check out this Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona El Primero powered reference 16528 on our website, watchyouwant.com.